Is. There we go. I'm ready to go. So, welcome to another scene in Gotham by Night. All three characters present are new and being introduced at the Velvet Rose, since that is where most of us are
How
familiar.
about we go instead to the sushi bar?
Yeah, we can do Sushi Bar. If anyone's
So
actually been there before.
I've been there as Creed before.
As long as we have
It's
somebody who knows
yeah,
what the scene involves.
it's called the New Moon Sushi Bar, I believe.
Okay.
I may be wrong on the name, but it's a well-established sushi bar down in the heart of downtown New Gotham. Um, for our gangrel friend, who's our only overt supernatural character, you know that this is established neutral ground.
Like Elysium or just.
No,
Because
neutral
usually
ground
that's what
between
Elysium is.
all supernatural parties.
Oh, same thing as the Rose.
Yes and no. This place has more enforcement
Mm.
on that front. Like, all supernatural parties know that fighting here, causing trouble, will cause you major trouble, as it were. So, to set the scene, Colorado, a little hefty of a guy, pretty normal looking, however, with a nice short cropped beard and open face, is sitting at the actual bar. He has several platters in front of him with various assortments of sashimi, nigiri, and maki rolls, and he's happily chowing down.
Okay. Uh, we'll say it's probably near midnight, and the gangrel just walks in, and he's reasonably big. He has pretty high stamina, he's above average strength, and so on. So he's not extremely imposing yet, but he's reasonable. He's built.
May we see a
So,
picture of him?
uh, well, the overlay I have at the moment is not final, but I can certainly change to the Okral Crim. Why are you doing this? There we go. That's from Interview of the Vampire. He's not massive by any means, but he's like got his shit together anyway. He does seem pretty gruff. Like he's not, still not the most toxic character. Not as bad as the Beast, but he's just gruff.
All right.
Nobody here's a vampire, so we're not immediately doing all that nonsense. As for what he orders, he gets a rather large platter of sashimi. Just straight up sashimi and seafood udon. And he sits across from you if you guys are relatively together. Otherwise, he sits across from whichever, I think, Zoe.
I mean, if he wants to, she has this look that she doesn't want to be bothered.
Oh, so they fit right in together.
She'd be sitting with one or two small glasses of sake.
Ah, good shit.
And probably some simple rice. But you're not entirely sure if she's old enough to have that.
My character looks comparatively young as well, like fresh out of college. He just kind of he has like, what do you call them, boonie hats, and he just kind of like tips his head as he sits down. He's not going full neck beard. He just tips his head, takes it off before dinner. Like proper manners.
All right. Colorado will lean over as you're placing the order and whisper, "Get some of the yellowfish that just came in today."
Sure. And he adds it to the order, and I suppose I'll introduce myself as Oko and ask for the names of you two. I'm still looking at the kindred senses.
I think you can hear a heartbeat from both of us.
Yeah, I have bloodhound, so I can also smell and get some other information. What's in composure? Well, you guys don't exactly have clans or popular drugs or what have you. But I can tell if you're human.
So he's very human.
Fair enough.
Same with Colorado.
Alright. Yeah, it's not as intense as the beast version. He's just kind of, he looks like he's taking a sniff of his food, seeing how raw it is, but he's actually kind of taking that tentative like poke, like, what am I actually sitting next to?
No, Zoe looks. She looks far more interested in her phone. She has been rapidly typing, punching out all kinds of text messages.
Oh damn!
In the last minute or two, if you've been paying attention.
Yes, my character is from before technology-ish. He kind of like not just woke up, but he's actually from like World War II, whenever that would be in this universe, and he's just been in and out of. He just drifts, how Gangrel travel from city to city.
Well, he's going to have a fun time later tonight. Throwing up all that sushi he's about to eat.
Oh, I suppose I should have mentioned that he's under blush of life, because that's how you don't do that for at least a little while. Otherwise, it would be immediately, I think.
Pretty much.
Good times. Maintaining that mortal facade.
So Colorado, after he said that, doesn't really pay attention to either of you, as he's taken out what seems to be some sort of philosophy book and is slowly paging through it as he continues to chow down. He has a beer, his food, and what looks to be a really, really well-worn book.
Okra will kind of casually lean over, like, what you reading?
Give me a sec. To come up with an actual book.
Just like Nietzsche's existential nihilism. Or Frederick Bacon's views, Aristotle's archetypes. I guess it'd be Plato's.
He holds it up, and you read on the front. It just says the dialogues, and then Pluto underneath.
Oh, okay. He just kind of nods with his 0 academics. And he's just like, oh yeah, good times. I've never really found much use for paper other than spreading knowledge and starting fires.
No, at this point, Zoe has put in some sort of earpiece, and she's flipping through something on her phone, and you can see her eyes are slowly becoming more focused. She's not looking at the phone. She's staring at the wall now, like she's listening something intently.
She's been like straight up ignoring us, and it's just I know I kind of like barged in, but the fact that she's in the public place just going all out on her phone while trying to eat is like improper, I guess. So Okra will kind of like not so accidentally drop his silverware or chopsticks or whatever. Just make like some startling noise. I won't tip over the sake because like alcohol is holy and all, but but like just some noise, just to be like, seriously, man.
She looks over and she sees what you did, and she pouts for a second. She kind of like slowly moves to pick up whatever he dropped and kind of offers it to him. You dropped this? Are you okay?
He's just like not glaring at her, but he's kind of taking her in, as it were. Not in a, that sounds weird, but like,
Sizing her up, you say?
Is she like covered in electronic devices?
No, there's her phone that she's holding on to, and there's the earpiece that she's listening to. And if Okrul looks down at the screen, he can see various words related to the police.
Well, I suppose it's a good thing there's no warrant out for my arrest.
Oh, no. It's some kind of app she's listening to.
Ah. He sort of... He'll somewhat graciously grab what she's offered, but rather than saying thanks or anything, he's like giving her this look as if hinting, are you in trouble? Or are you looking for trouble? Or is trouble looking for you? What is the situation here?
That sounds really complex for a look.
Well, it's a quizzical look. It can all be compiled down to just a quizzical look.
And she kind of looks down at, she looks at his look and kind of follows his eyes and notices that he's looking at her phone. And she kind of like tries to hide it behind her back, but it's like really obvious.
It's kind of too late for that.
Way late for that. She's like, I'm just listening to one of those ebooks. Sorry about that. She kind of like puts the phone in her back pocket.
Jack just
what book?
Shakes his head like he's clearly not buying it. He's like, you need a hand? And he kind of has this like glint in his eyes. Or some claws?
Claws? Is that some kind of... never mind. That's fine. No. I'm listening to a book. That's all. It was no big deal.
Sure.
He'll
kind of tap Colorado's shoulder, and he's like, "You're not buying this either, are you?"
Oh, what kind of book were you listening to? Anything good?
Crap, what would she say?
Okra's already just like something about the police. She keeps like talking about it or listening to it, supposedly.
Well, the actual app was a police scanner. She was listening to radio waves.
So, real quick, Colorado's going to look between you two and go, "Oh," and get a kind of glint in his eye as he goes, "Oh, you were listening to a murder mystery. What was it? The red herring?"
Yeah. I don't remember the author's name, but Yeah, that's what I was listening to. How'd you know,
Insert
mister?
social chat.
Yeah, Dick Bruson is an excellent author. I love his work so much.
Oh my god.
Well, I'm gonna have to look him up later.
I thought you were listening to him just now.
Yeah, but I have to look up another book by him because I hadn't really heard of his books before.
Hmm. Do I have a cute census? Did I actually grab that?
You can see that even though she's looking at Okral, her eyes keep shifting off to the left as if she's splitting her attention, and she's a little. She's slightly struggling.
Okral will follow her attentions.
She's not looking at anything in particular, but it's like
it's like when you're okay.
Yeah, she's looking at Okral, and then she hears something, so her eyes kind of shift a bit to pay attention to that. But then she remembers I'm in a conversation, so she pushes her attention back to you, and it keeps going back and forth.
He'll just continue eating as he just shakes it off. Like, whatever you do, if you don't want any help, fine.
Help with what exactly?
Well, that was more of his internal. Like, if you're that dead set on whatever it is you're doing, it's like, fine, I'll just eat then. Not that you guys know that he's just gonna vomit it up later, but.
But yes.
Coming here to meet people, potentially expand my circle, potentially get some information on the goings on in town. And I meet a couple of weirdos. Not that I'm not a weirdo, but.
You meet a couple of for all you know, normies.
Yeah, exactly.
So does he say this whole friends thing out loud?
No. What he will say out loud is just looking for some company.
I don't think that's that kind of bar, man.
He doesn't say it like it's like leading anywhere like that.
I mean, sure. I guess my parents keep telling me to go out and talk to people, so that's what I was trying to do, and I got distracted.
By the police.
Like usual. Say what? By the police? Yeah, that's a weird hobby to have.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, do I really?
We just moved in town, so I was trying to explore the neighborhood a little bit, and it was a sushi shop. And the owner here is real nice.
New in town, eh?
Yeah, you could say that.
Well, in that case, you should check out. And he gives a list of places as he's stuffing down the rest of his food, as if he's just knows the time. Slaps down some money and goes, well, good luck with the whole tourist thing. And gets up to leave. Out of character, I'm getting texts that I have to get going.
Oh, okay, no worries. I was debating using the auras that beasts have. It's been a long time. The predatory auras, but I think you said you were up for hanging out for a bit. So I'm glad that's not necessary.
Bye,
He just
guys.
kind of shrugs. He's like, "Well, I'm new to town, and you seem like you're from around here, so maybe we can just see some of the landmarks or something. You know, get acquainted with the place." Okay, Bumble, you don't need to take up my whole desk. Jeez. What's up?
I mean, I was just walking around the neighborhood. I wasn't trying to see. I mean, maybe downtown would be nice, but
Well, if anything, I can walk you home, I guess. And if we see anything along the way, great.
I can take care of myself. That's fine. You don't need to. I mean, I was just trying to be friendly.
Fair. That's fair. It's just like the most awkward conversation between. It's like two high school kids meeting up in a restaurant. They're like, oh hey, you want to go hang out? Maybe, but not that far. Oh, well, how about your place? I don't know, man. Well,
I mean, she just did get out of high school, so I guess that's a bad habit on her part.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's fitting then.
She's
It's
like-
just funny
She's
because
like,
it's
"Nine-
I don't know, man. Yeah, maybe. Eh.
I don't know. She's 19, almost 20, and she's
Oh,
trying to get her roots down.
oh,
New
so we're
city
kind of
after
doing the
all.
same thing then.
Ironically, yes. In her case.
So I approached the wrong person for intel on the city.
Well, she could tell you quite a bit about crime levels. They're too damn high. And she
It's
could
Gotham.
tell you about, and she could tell you about other people like herself who spend time listening to police band radios.
All right. I could
Yeah.
tell you about some of the horrible atrocities of world wars and the general incompetence of military.
And that blank glazed look she would get, like, okay, yeah, he's crazy. Great. He just
Sharon
offered to
is
walk
like-
me home.
Like sharing these old war stories, and it's like, oh, my grandpa, totally not me. My grandfather told me these stories.
Oh man, World War II. Was he ever in Japan? She'd be so, well, she wouldn't be mad. She wouldn't really know what to do about that. So let's see. Where do we push this is the question. The scholar has gotten up and left,
Mm-hmm.
and Zoe feels like she's done something wrong, but she hasn't exactly figured out what.
And this guy, you're like not sure if he's trying to threaten you or hang out with you or what, because he's just like,
Exactly, because one minute he's all like getting her attention, and then the next he's all like,
are we gonna hang out or not? Oh, by the way, here's some random war stories since you decided to share police band stories. And it was just like, here's half. I kind of figured that conversation was taking up time. Like, you would say all these different stories
imagine
about your
the
police
conversation-
bands,
I
and then
imagine
you would
the
share these like war stories.
Yeah, I'm guessing the conversation wouldn't be about the police, the radios, is more about just the police in general.
Yeah, and then he would have responded with a bit about the military and just their general competence, and he's just like, yeah, fuck the establishment, in a sense.
Well, I don't know. We're new in town, and my parents are worried about the city being Gotham and how busy it can be. So
You live with your family?
yeah, we just got into country a month ago, 2 months now, maybe.
Oh, I've been here for a few months, enough to get inducted into some of the systems. So, you know, I can present myself to places and have the appropriate ID and shit.
We had to do all that when we were getting visas and
Yeah, it's a bit of a longer process when you're from that far out of town.
Japan, for what it's worth.
Well, you speak clear English, so that's, kudos to you. Must have did well in school. You don't have the English where they add a bunch of random syllables to words.
No, she's fluent.
Yeah.
Her first language is English because I'm not going to attempt.
Okay.
Her first language is English. She is multilingual in Japanese and Chinese.
Oh. I'm not gonna lie, the other character I was gonna make was a swordsman who was multilingual.
Which sadly means she can't read Japanese, which is kind of awkward.
Well, that's okay. A lot of Japanese have a hard time reading Japanese because they've got hiragana, katakana, and they have kanji, like 3,000 kanji that they have to know, and they're expected to memorize like 100 a day. Like, it's kind of insane.
So, yeah.
They have great memories, though.
You could say that we're new in town, and this is the first time I kind of run off on my own.
Well, it's been a pleasure making your acquaintance. And he kind of extends his hand as if to shake yours, and like that graceful guy and lady way of doing it. And hopefully this is the start of a fruitful friendship for both of us.
All right. Sure.
Are you the kind that explores and generally gets into trouble? You seem like it if you're listening to police bands.
Okay, I mean, yeah, I do a little bit of exploring. Sure.
Cool. I can appreciate that. I'm kind of a drifter myself, so I can he's just like, cool, common ground, but like he appreciates that as a person. Like, people who are not stale but don't do anything for long periods of time, like he just finds that pointless. So that's kind of like a plus in his books, I guess, that you're not afraid to see new things, go out of your way and explore things.
Well, I guess you could say I'm scouting, actually.
Oh yeah? You got a mark?
A what?
Well, if you're scouting, either you have a particular area that you'd like to know more about, or you have a mark, like something in particular that you want to know more about, maybe not an area.
And I mean, if you want to say the neighborhood's a mark, sure. I'm scouting the neighborhood, yeah.
Oh, you're still really new then. Okay. You said you've been here for a couple months, so I thought maybe you'd already.
Well, I also imagine, they've been in country a couple of months. They spent most of that time moving into Gotham proper.
Fair enough.
And over the last week, she's been scouting a little Asia in Gotham.
Oh.
So
how many different districts are there? Like, is there Little China, Little Asia, Little Italy, Little whatever?
Well, I didn't want to assume that it was just Little China, so I'm assuming it's one Asian district.
Oh, okay.
I'm assuming. But then again, Gotham's modeled on many real cities, and that tends to be a thing that happens in real cities. So yeah, that's the neighborhood we're in. So I'm just taking a look, getting used to the place.
He kind of gives you this sidelong glance, like, one last question. And he's essentially trying to phrase the quintessential, is there anything special about you? But that's not... He's kind of asking if you're supernatural, but he's doing it in such a way that, like, if you truly are just mortal, then it just comes off as like weird or bad taste, as opposed to like straight up, are you a vampire or some shit? You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to subtly get that question across.
I have no idea how he'd do that.
Let's see what your social stats are. Streetwise, intimidation, and amicant. Well, we don't want to scare you.
I mean, my personal guess is that he'll say something like, "So you spend a lot of time out in the dark?" And her
Well,
answer would be yes. Not the reasons he's expecting, but it's still yes.
I think an easier question would be like if she craves anything in particular. Because even if she's not supernatural, that's still a good way to learn about somebody.
She'll get this. She'd been kind of happy and bubbly there for most of the conversation, even when he was giving her war stories for some reason. Maybe that was confusion. But if he asks a question about what she wants, or however he words it, she'll probably take it as what she wants. She gets this more serious look, and she kind of looks around, and I want this neighborhood to be safer.
And how do you want to go about that?
Well, the police can only do so much, and
so you're taking up vigilante life, like Mr. Wayne?
I mean, if you want to put it that way, yeah. I'm trying to keep an eye on things. I'm trying to get settled in first, but yeah, it's what I did back home.
That kind of piques his interest a bit. He's like, so you have experience doing this. What sort of talent, like, what gives you the ability to face the night, as it were?
Nothing, really. I guess you could just say I'm lucky.
Oh. Like Ataria lucky?
I have no idea if he would know what that is, but if he's going to ask her what right she has, she would just say that she's lucky and she wants the neighborhood to be safer. That's about it.
Fair enough. Well, I should probably go get something a little more filling before retiring. But anytime you want to talk on the night shift and he like slips his number towards you, feel free. If someone's giving you a hard time, I can probably make him disappear.
Well, I guess I wasn't going to do it on my own anyway.
Well, I mean, you can't go forever without anybody. Everybody needs at least some friends.
I used to have friends, you know? But now it's a new city, so I have to start over again. So.
Well. I may not have known you very long, but we're kind of in the same situation, you and me, so I don't see why we shouldn't kind of stick together. And with that, he kind of puts his hat back on and stands up, and he's like, well, if you don't need me for anything at the moment, I suppose I'll be off.
No, not yet. I'm still looking, you know? And I guess my parents aren't wrong. It's going to be more difficult than I thought.
Well, my regards, and he just heads on out. And with that, I think we'll end the scene because it's 10:30 at night, and eventually it's just going to go in circles, right? So let me just change the overlay. I'll actually bother with an outro for once. And so with that, we have another scene of Gotham by Night. introducing 3 new characters at the sushi bar, New Moon. Said that backwards. The New Moon Sushi Bar. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Take care.